Hi, and welcome to Tapped into Hudson. I'm Steve Lennox, and I'm the publisher of Tap into Bayonne, Tap into Jersey City, and Tap into Hoboken. We're doing the show remotely again. We're doing a little bit of traveling, so we can't be in the studio, but we wanted to keep bringing news to you. We wanted to keep bringing the events that are happening in Jersey City and Hoboken and Bayonne to our readers and our viewers. We want to keep bringing guests to you. There's so much great stuff happening in each of our cities that we're covering with local news that we don't want to miss a chance to be on your screens and bring you some additional information. So with that, we're going to go right to our first guest this week, and that's Rachel Sieg. And Rachel is the executive director of the historic Downtown Special Improvement District in Jersey City. If you haven't been downtown yet for one of the farmers markets on Mondays or Thursdays, 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock at the Newark Avenue Pedestrian Plaza, you're really missing out. And Rachel is going to join us and tell us why you're missing out. Rachel, how are you today?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. So, I just teased it a little bit. Those farmers markets are happening 2 days a week now. They're happening Mondays and Thursdays, 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock, right?
Yes, we have the farmers market every Monday and Thursday from 4 to 8 at the Grove Path Plaza.
And Rachel, why don't you tell our viewers and our readers some of the types of vendors they're going to see down there, they're going to get to meet?
Yeah, so we have a bunch of farms. We have two farms, and then we have everything from organic cookies to fresh bread to pickles to you could pick up some plants at the market, some flowers, smoothies. So we really have a variety of everything.
You've got soap at the farmers market. You've got even pet treats at the farmers market, if I remember correctly. I mean, it's
That's
really an
right.
incredible, yeah, it's an incredible array of small vendors, and they're bringing some great natural products to Jersey City. Rachel, why don't you tell us a little bit how important? Why actually not how important? We know how important it is, but why is the farmers market so important these days as we come out of COVID-19, and I guess it gives people a chance to be back outside and together, but most importantly to get these great products. Is that really the reason behind the farmers market?
Yeah, so there's a few things. So definitely we want people to be able to shop local, to get their fresh food. If you go down there now, they have local asparagus, local blueberries, local strawberries, but also the idea, because we're in a special improvement district, is not only to shop at the farmers market, but when you're done shopping at the farmers market, you can go down and eat at a restaurant or shop local in our district. So you get a little bit of both worlds. If you're coming off the train station or coming from a meeting or just want to get out with your kids, you can go to the farmers market, do a little shopping, and then maybe stop for a drink or dinner. So you get a little bit of both worlds.
Rachel, no, that's great. And I've been there several times, of course. I love coming down for the farmers market. You started this in the winter, and restrictions were still a bit more strict, and the vaccinations hadn't really started in earnest yet. But, we're doing a lot better now. Masks are coming off a little bit. We're still being careful, but we're starting to loosen up a bit. A lot of us have gotten vaccinated finally. The numbers of cases are going way, way down. What's the feeling like in downtown Jersey City now?
So again, we follow the rules, whatever the health department tells us to do. We're wintertime. We were actually wearing gloves and masks, and we were out there, and people were scared to shop in the grocery stores. So having them outside and be able to uh, go to the Grove Path Plaza and go to the market was definitely helpful. We are still following guidelines as far as when you do go to the market. We do want you to wear a mask, but before we weren't allowing you to touch your products, but you can do that now, where you can pick up your own watermelon, pick up your own strawberry. Some people, would rather them, they feel more comfortable doing it themselves than having somebody from one of the farms do it for them. So we're trying, we're having more vendors, we're more relaxed that way, and you can actually pick up and take your own food.
That's great, and the buzz has gotten better down there, I imagine. And there's a renewed energy in downtown Jersey City, isn't there? I mean, that's really what the farmers market's all about. there's strength and unity, and people feel like we're back out there. We're going to enjoy the business that we have here in Jersey City. Is that sort of the attitude and the response you're getting from the residents down that way?
Absolutely. This time last year, I was so sad. I've been doing this farmers market for 10 years. And last summer, I was like, oh, I don't know if we're going to make it through this summer, because there was hardly anyone out. Now there's people coming off the train. There's even the restaurants are coming out and buying their products for their restaurants from the market, which I love to see. Kitchen Step from downtown, they're a big customer of ours. Well, they'll come down, get their mushrooms, whatever they're cooking for the weekend. So it's nice to finally see everyone's face.
That's great. Yeah, and again, we're still wearing masks, but we can see it in each other's eyes, right? We can see that we're happy to be
Right.
back out there. Rachel, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, I want to talk about some of the changes that are coming to Nork Avenue. This is something we talked about when you came on the show back in, I'd say, November or December of last year, but those changes are coming quickly now. So with that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Rachel Sieg of the historic Downtown Special Improvement District.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design studio and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Hi, and welcome back to Tapped Into Hudson. I'm Steve Lennox, and I'm the publisher of Tap Into Bayonne, Tap Into Jersey, and Tap Into Hoboken. Before we get into the next part of the conversation, I just do want to take a second and thank all of our readers, all of our viewers. We've been doing this now for about 13 months. We started April 1st of 2020 in Hoboken and Jersey City. We've built tremendous followings, and it's been great. We enjoy bringing you the local news, everything that's happening in our cities, but we're most appreciative that you keep coming back for the stories over and over again. We hope you'll keep doing that. With that, I want to go right back to Rachel Sieg, and Rachel, of course, is the executive director of the historic Downtown Jersey City Special Improvement District. They're helping to manage all the businesses that are down there, bring a lot of energy to downtown Jersey City. Rachel, when we spoke in the last segment, we were talking about the farmers market being back. But when you joined us last year, you were talking about some improvements that were coming to the Nork Avenue Pedestrian Plaza. And then, I think the city council had maybe just approved them. It was more of a concept than anything else. But that work is in full swing now, isn't it?
Yeah, they started a few weeks ago. It's in full swing. It's a $7 million project, and we're hoping to be done hopefully by October. But yeah, we're really excited about it. It's going to be a huge change and a huge improvement for downtown.
And this is really is a symbol that, everything that we went through in 2020 and into 2021 with having to be apart and everything, we kind of learned that being outdoors is more important than ever, right? And we've some people say we've adopted a European style of dining with the outdoor dining and the outdoor entertainment and creating these plazas. Is that sort of what you're going for on Nork Avenue?
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously people feel more comfortable sitting outside, not just on Newark Avenue, but a lot of our restaurants and businesses didn't have outside seating on Grove Street. For instance,
Sure.
the Orlay restaurant, with their location, it didn't allow for outside seating. And now that when the pandemic hit, the mayor and I spoke about it, and we actually closed down Grove, which has helped, everyone's life. It made it a lot easier, more comfortable, and it's definitely getting a positive feedback from it, especially on Grove Street and especially on Nork Avenue.
That's great, Rachel. A story that we were so happy to do earlier this week, and of course, it's something you've been working on for weeks or probably even months, was the Everything Downtown festival that's coming back September 18th. It's going to be your 10th year. We missed it last year because of COVID, but it's back and it's going to be bigger and better than ever. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what the festival, what it's all about, and what we can expect to see?
Yeah, so usually we start in January with preparing for the September event, but in January we're like, there's no way we're going to be able to have this, so we didn't even prepare. We didn't even put it in our budget. And this past month we made an executive decision to have the street fair. So all the vendors that signed up last year, if they wanted a refund, they were able to get a refund. But if they wanted to hold their spot for this coming year, they do get prime location in the street fair. So instead of having, over 300 vendors, for right now, we're keeping it low. We're going to do 150, which is still high. And then, as things get better over the few months, we'll allow more vendors in. And yes, we are preparing in full swing and ordered the rides, ordered the tents, and we're really excited about it.
Great. Well, we're excited too, and I can't wait to be there and meet our readers and meet some of our viewers. Rachel, before we wrap the show up today, when we write stories about the Newark Avenue work that's happening and some of the improvements that are going on in downtown Jersey City, we get notes from readers in different parts of the city, Central Avenue, Journal Square, West Side, and they say, why does the downtown get so much attention and we don't get it here? Now, I don't know if it's necessarily true that they don't get it, but some people feel that way. What would your response be to these people that say this?
So there are 6 SIDs in Jersey City. A lot of the events that are going on downtown are from the historic downtown. Each SID has different needs and wants. We do most of the things that happen downtown. We are the ones that have the clean team. We are the ones that have we run the events. We pay for the events. We keep it going. We water the flowers. So if these are things that you want for your district, I would suggest either speaking, with somebody from the city and finding out who the SID director is, because there's different ones. There's one in Journal Square. There's one in Central Ave. And if you really want a street fair like the downtown, it is possible. We weren't the first ones to do the street fair. Actually, Central Ave was. They were the ones that first did their street fair. And I went to them and spoke to them and said, how do you do an event like this? And they were nice enough to, help us with it. So if you want to get involved, speak to your SID. If you own a business or a property, get involved, be a board member, and say, hey, these are the things that Central Ave or Journal Square wants. But it does take a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of money. And I can say everything that we get as an SID, we always put back. But it's not just, people say all the time, oh, it's all about downtown. Well, it is, because the SID is taking care of a lot of it. So, if you speak to your district, you can also make that happen, but you have to get involved.
Rachel, I think that's great advice. It always comes back to get involved. We have to wrap up this segment, Rachel, but I want to say, I think we also have to go with this theory that a rising tide lifts all boats, right? And what's good for the downtown ultimately is good for Journal Square, and it's good for the West Side, and it's good for Central Ave, and it's good for Bergen Lafayette. A better Jersey City is better for everybody. So let's strengthen every single part of Jersey City. I think you'd agree with that, Rachel. I love having you on the show again. Looking forward to being back at the farmers market, some of the great events you've got coming up this summer, especially the Downtown Festival. We'll be there September 18th. Rachel, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.
Regional Hospital, we promise to be prepared for your emergency.
We promise to provide world-class robotic surgical care.
We promise to treat you like family.
To provide accurate diagnostic care.
To provide the most innovative orthopedic care at your doorsteps.
We promise to treat your baby like our own.
To never stop investing in the best of spinal care.
To be with you every step of the way.
Here at Hudson Regional Hospital, we promise to take care of our community.
Hi, and welcome back to Tapped Into Hudson. I'm Steve Lennox, and I'm the publisher of Tap Into Bayonne, Tap Into Hoboken, and Tap Into Jersey City. We've been going through COVID-19 for 14 months now, and the structure of work and how we do our jobs has obviously changed so much. Even how we do these shows has changed so much. And as we're sitting here trying to put this show together, we're dealing with a delay, we're dealing with technology issues, but this is all part of COVID-19. And this is part of the reason we need to figure out how to get back to work together, right? We need to keep the masks on. If that's what we need to do, we need to make sure we get our vaccinations. There's steps that we can take to stay healthy, to be healthy, and we need to follow them. You know, it's been an experience for the past 14 months, of course. And again, we found new ways to work. But as we sit here, we're going through these issues, and we've got children on both sides, you know, trying to do their schooling. We got one who wants to go on a PlayStation right now. You know, it's been an interesting situation, but we're making the best of it. You know, we're trying to do our best, and we want to keep bringing news to our readers, and that is our number one job, and that we're going to keep doing. But with that, we're going to bring on our second guest, and that's Chris Halleron. And Chris, of course, is our reporter for Tap Into Hoboken, and he also covers some of Tap Into Jersey City for us. Chris, how are you doing today? Can you hear us okay?
I can hear you fine. I know there's a bit of a delay on my end, but
that's okay, Chris. No, that's what we were just saying. You know, we're dealing with these technology issues, and, you know, we get curveballs thrown at us a lot over the past 14 months, but we're dealing with it. You know, you have your son, I think he's 5 or he's 6 years old. He's trying to do his schooling, of course, and we don't want to take him away from that. But that's the world we live in now, right? We have parents working from home. We have kids working from home, and everything's been a challenge. How have you guys done getting through it for the past 14 months?
I tell you what, my kid's not going to miss school, so he'll be all right. We've been doing okay, you know, rolling with it and doing the best we can to get through things. My wife's been busy. I've been busy. You know, it's been a challenge certainly, but you know, moving along. So.
I think that's about all we can say, Chris, right? We're moving along. We've learned to adapt. Now, that leads us to a story that we put out earlier this week, and it really comes from the state level. You know, Governor Murphy has declared that all students are going to be back in school in September. There is going to be no more remote learning, except, I guess, in extenuating circumstance if numbers start to creep back up or they have to isolate a certain segment of, you know, a classroom or whatever it might be. But that has got to be music to the ears of parents in Hoboken and in Jersey City, and even to teachers. I mean, teachers, I think we all know the teachers want to be back in the classroom, right? They want to be teaching their children. And the superintendent said as much, didn't she, when you spoke with her earlier this week?
So I spoke with Dr. Christine Johnson, the superintendent of Hoboken Public Schools, and they've been trying to maintain and successfully maintaining in-person learning throughout the year, with the exception of taking some breaks right after the holidays. They've taken like a week off after Thanksgiving, and I believe it was a week off after Christmas, and I believe there's a week off after spring break as well. And prior to getting the students back in the classrooms, they insisted upon COVID-19 testing for everybody, just to make sure that those high travel periods didn't bring about some sort of outbreak within the school. So they've been very cautious. In Hoboken, Jersey City has been another kettle of fish trying to get everybody in. It was a seesaw back and forth earlier this month, but the kids are back now, and you know, they're working through that, and hopefully we'll have everything lined up for full-on in-school learning next September.
And we, of course, had school board trustee Gina Vertibello from Jersey City on the show last week, and she gave some of the machinations that went on in Jersey City. As you said, the back and forth, we're opening, we're not opening, we're opening. Again, it's been a challenge for everyone. I don't know what else to say about it, but we're all making do. You know, when we went into this time last year, I guess it was about 14 months ago, we didn't have the testing capabilities. We didn't know how contagious this was or what caused it to spread the way it did. We certainly didn't have a vaccination. We didn't have the sanitization tools that we have now, but the schools have been fully outfitted. They've been equipped. The teachers have been trained to look for some of these different the symptoms that we may be carrying, and we know so much more, and that's going to make all the difference, and it is making all the difference, right? And that's why our numbers are dropping to the levels they are, and we just got to keep moving forward and keep dropping those numbers down until we can eradicate this COVID-19 virus, and there's a role for us all to play.
Agreed. It's been a gargantuan effort from everybody involved, from kids to parents to administrators and so on, and teachers. But we pulled together, and we've gotten this far. We're hopefully coming out of it, and the trends are positive from a epidemiology point of view, where things aren't spreading as much. It seems the vaccinations are working. Kids are getting vaccinated now, and there's more coming in terms of vaccinations for children. So we'll see how that all plays out, and hopefully, those of us who have managed to get through to this point will continue moving forward.
No, that's right, Chris, and thank you. And what's I think been so reassuring from our end, maybe from the media end, is those stories coming through about people passing away from the virus have slowed down greatly. Thank goodness for that, right? And the reports of numbers increasing or restaurants closing, now, as you said, now is the time for recovery. We figured out how to sort of get together, band together, and put on the masks and get in line for vaccinations. And there's been a lot of political hay made of all that. And, some people are ready to throw their masks away. And it is what it is. Everybody's got to make their decision on what they think is the best way to serve their community and serve their families and protect themselves and protect each other. But, we're all going to do the best we can, and let's get through this together. Chris, we're going to take a break. We're going to keep powering through this technological divide that we're dealing with. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about some public safety issues that have crept up in Hoboken in the past few days. Thank you so much for sticking with us.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers the quality of life you deserve in 10 high-rise rental towers with amenities such as the on-site Newport Path subway, light rail and ferry service, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Sears, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams Supermarket is just outside your front door. A health and fitness club, spa, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. NewportNJ.com. Enjoy the New York skyline from Newport Town Square. Manhattan is just one path stop away or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Want to visit Newport? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. Go to NewportNJ.com for details. Newport has luxurious towers, great restaurants, shopping, New York skyline views, schools, playgrounds, a marina and yacht club, gym, spa, fine wine, fine living. It's incredible. It's you. NewportNJ.com. Newport. Live like you want.
Pen & Pencil Properties, Jersey City. Shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces that address your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment. Adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at penandpencilproperties.com. Pen & Pencil Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Hi, and welcome back to our final segment of this week's Tapped Into Hudson. It's been an interesting week in the city of Hoboken. It's always an interesting week in the city of Hoboken, but this week especially. We had a surprise announcement of retirement by Chief Ken Ferrante. Chris, how is that playing out so far? I mean, that sort of came out of left field, didn't it?
It really did. It was a shock to, most people familiar with the police department and the workings of the city of Hoboken, because Chief Ferrante had gotten his contract renewed for a 3-year contract last year after a bit of political wrangling. There were concerns over, having this appointment made by a mayor potentially in his last year of service, it being an election year coming up. So, but after a lot of back and forth, the city council got together and said, actually, yeah, Chief Ferrante deserves this, and he was locked in. And then, not to say much ado about nothing, but it was a lot of, drama behind it. And then for Chief to come in this year and say, look, it's time for me to step aside, was really a shock to a lot of people. And, we're still trying to unpack the reasons as to why. Look, everybody can empathize with the chief, having gone through the challenges that we discussed earlier, the past year of COVID and whatnot. It's been certainly challenging for the public safety on multiple levels. And now that things are sort of coming out of that and sort of returning to normal, maybe Chief sees an opportunity to sort of step back and let someone else take over as he moves on to whatever he wants to do next, which will be something we'll be paying attention to.
Absolutely. And Chris, when you did the follow-up story yesterday on Thursday about Chief Ferrante leaving, you got a comment from Mayor Bala, you got a quote from Councilman Ruben Ramos and a bunch of other leaders in Hoboken. And to a man and a woman, each one had praising, glowing remarks for Chief Ferrante. I mean, he really leaves a legacy of building a safer, better Hoboken, doesn't he?
He certainly does. And then, I'd be happy to say that he made my job a lot easier because he was very forthcoming and very open to the media. He was willing to answer questions about anything and everything, and doing so timely, which is something that we certainly need in the digital age. But he's always had an open door, and he's been very cordial and welcoming, and it's sort of trickled down into the Hoboken Police Force from my opinion, my point of view. They just seem like a more engaged and interactive part of the community, and he's certainly going to be missed from that standpoint. Hopefully, whatever happens next, which we don't know, it will be, it'll carry on that legacy and carry on that tradition of interacting with the community and sort of a proactive approach to not just the community but the media and making everybody sort of get along, which I guess is the job of the police department.
Absolutely. Get along. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Getting along with the community, the politicians, the media. We all have a part to play in public safety, of course. You don't think of the media as playing a role in public safety, but we do. We're the ones that are putting the stories out there. Chris, at the same time that was happening, or within hours, word got out that Fire Chief Brian Crimmins had been put on administrative leave. Again, another shocker in the world of public safety of Hoboken. What happened there?
We still don't know. That was a very big shocker. Not just that, Chief Crimmins was placed on administrative leave, but the timing at which he was placed on administrative leave. Within, frankly, hours of Chief Ferrante's announcement, we then found out, and it wasn't publicly made. It was sort of trickled out that, oh, by the way, the fire chief has been placed on administrative leave. So we're still trying to unpack what's going on there. We haven't got any official word from anybody. Everybody's sort of tight-lipped. What we are hearing is there has been some sort of discrepancy in the way things are being handled in the department, some issues with battalion chiefs that are sort of coming to a head. And, Crimmins has had, I don't want to say an acrimonious relationship with the administration, but there have been some, public conflicts there and some vocalizations of those conflicts. And so to have the chief be placed on administrative leave so soon after a bombshell from Chief Ferrante really, raised a lot of questions. And, just prior to Ferrante's announcement, there was an announcement from the Hoboken superior officers that they were going to endorse the mayor for his reelection coming up in November. So a lot happened there, and we still don't know what's going on, but hopefully we'll get to the bottom of it soon.
Chris, well, thank you. Thank you for breaking that all down. Of course, all any of us want, I think, is a safer Hoboken. So, Chief Ferrante, we wish you well in retirement. We'll remain on the case. We'll see what happened here with Chief Brian Crimmins. We'll see where that goes. We don't know quite what administrative leave even means at this point. I don't think even that hasn't been made clear. But we'll stay on top of it, Chris. I know you will. With that, Chris, thank you for powering through the technological difficulties. To our viewers, thank you for bearing with us while we went through this. Our friends on the other side of the camera, thank you for sticking with us and getting this all recorded and produced. We'll see you next week. Thank you for tuning in to Tapped Into Hudson.